Black Myth Wukong is one of the prettiest games you're gonna play in 2024. Actually, you might not play it. Actually, a lot of people might not play it because the difficulty in this game will kick your ass like it did mine. So I played Black Myth Wukong for about 20 hours. I actually really like the game. However, I just not too long ago spent 400 hours playing Elden Ring and its behemoth of a DLC, The Shadow of the Erd Tree. So I think I am tapped out of difficult games for the year. And on top of that, I just finished Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which took 207 hours and also had its challenges. So I decided, you know what, I'm gonna shelf this game until I build up the patience to tackle each and every one of its bosses. Now, that being said, I was in complete awe at the visuals in this game. This game is absolutely stunning. There's so many smart artistic choices in this game that it's actually mind-boggling. I'm not lying when I say this is literally one of the best looking games that you will play this year. And I really mean that. Even though I didn't finish this game, I still have to give this game its flowers in the visual aesthetic department because they did some things here I didn't think was possible on the PS5. So I took notes and we're gonna go through some of my favorite things that I found visually in Black Myth Wukong. My daughter says, you need to drink more tea on camera. You look kind of cool doing it. So here I am. Enough joking around. So let me just talk about the way this game starts. The way this game starts reminded me of one of the greatest spectacles I've seen in gaming. That was the intro to God of War 3. You remember when Kratos is climbing up the backs of the giants while fighting at the same time? It kind of reminded me of that. I really like spectacle in games. I love just seeing larger than life things, especially when it comes down to scale. And in Black Myth Wukong, within the first 15 minutes of this game, they absolutely nail the scaling that makes you feel like you are going up against the gods themselves. Figures stand hundreds of feet in the air, while you, Sun Wukong, stand at the height of a regular human being. As you're playing as Sun Wukong and you look up at the gods and they look down at you in shame, they think you're soft, but little do they know that you are not. You are, in fact, a god killer smasher. The first fight in the game, I think, is better than most final bosses in other games, at least visually. The very first fight in the entire game, staff versus spear, is fought in a sea of clouds. And while you're moving, these clouds are moving and they're moving according to the physics of your feet. And it looks fabulous. It looks amazing. And I'm playing on the PS5, so I can't even imagine what this would look like on a PC with the visuals or graphics turned all the way up. It must be mind-boggling. One day I'll get there. That first fight laid the stage for even more creative bosses later on. So bosses are a win, and I'll touch on those guys a little bit more in a little bit. But before I do that, I have to mention another thing that I absolutely loved. The armor in this game is some of the most intricate armor I have ever seen in any game at any time. I have not seen, and yes, God of War Ragnarok was fire, but Kratos didn't have this swag. He didn't look like this. I mean, all you have to do is just play the intro and just look at Sun's armor. And the amount of detail that they crammed into that armor, it literally looks hand sculpted. Like I've been to a Buddhist temple in Singapore, and I've seen the statues and the ornateness of them up close in person. And that same ornateness and intricateness is replicated here to perfection. The gold on top of the leather, on top of the cloth, lined with the fur, it just looks insane. Like literally all of the cloth in the game, whether it's tattered robes or the garment of a goddess, it just looks fabulous. It looks fabulous. And not only does it look fabulous, it actually moves in the correct motion that you would expect seeing sword fighting and spear fighting in the game. Now, back to the bosses. one thing that I really like about the aesthetics of these bosses within Black Myth Wukong, and I have to give credit where credit is due. Every single boss that I've seen so far in this game is very different from the last boss. I saw one that repeated, but that boss was actually a secret boss. And in even that boss that was reskinned from a prior sub-boss looked very distinct from that sub-boss. The environment that the boss is fighting in is in stark contrast to the boss himself. This guy is a golden guy, and he is set on this nice backdrop of just ugliness. A decrepit, ruined temple. And it looks so stunning. It looks so stunning. And this is just in the beginning of the game. Another one, I think they call him White Claw. He gave a lot of players a lot of work. He is a check. He is a check. Loved that boss fight. That boss fight was amazing. I know a lot of people struggled with it, but I really enjoyed that fight. So that boss fight took place in a shallow lake. So as you're moving and this guy is swinging his staff and moving around, and he's very fast, he's very swift. Most of the enemies, in fact, all of the enemies are pretty fast. The speed at which they perform all their combos in is also visually illustrated, so you can feel the force of each and every slap that they're going to deliver to you. So White Claw in the shallow lake, that fight was equally as beautiful as it was frustrating. And this is why I'm saying, yeah, you might want to check out this game, at least when it goes on sale. This game is dope. It's dope. It's dope. It's dope. It's hard, but it's dope. The game is dope, man. All right, so okay, so we talked about the bosses. Now I might as well go in and talk about the combat. The combat here, just like the rest of the visuals in the game, look stunning, look absolutely spectacular. Now, Sun Wukong uses a staff, and I must admit, the staff or the bow or whatever, or spear, is my least chosen weapon in any game. Next to the bow and arrow and daggers, I tend to stick more to sword and board and magical staffs. But here, you have to use a staff. And all of his animations look so badass. At some points, I was just like, man, I kind of want a Witcher style game from Game Science. With these visuals, using different weapons, because I really want to see how they would animate other fighting styles with other weapons. Because here, the staff is just, it looks so good. There is a stance in this game called the pillar stance. This guy will stab his staff into the ground. The staff will extend. Sun will flip off of the staff and come down. Now, the fact that he's coming down is not the cool part, but the staff bends. It bends according to the physics of the smash, and it looks incredible. I like fine details like that. When you slap somebody with that staff, it feels and looks impactful. That is a testament to the game's great visual direction. I thought the spells looked cool. The immobilize, the cloud step, I thought both of those were amazing. I can't wait to see the rest of them. But man, it feels so epic when you're fighting. And yeah, again, yeah, it is teamed with frustration, because some of these bosses, they're very fast, and if you don't know what you're doing, they will not give you any breathing room. And I am still kind of on the fence. And honestly, I feel like it's a great reward putting up with these a-hole bosses that this game constantly throws at you. That leads me to talk about the surrounding characters within the game, at least the ones that I've seen so far. So far, from what I can tell, the game does a very good job at presenting these mythical, majestic characters from Chinese folklore. And some of these characters I've actually seen before rendered in other media. My wife tends to watch a lot of Chinese shows, and I've seen some of these creatures in those shows. And honestly, it looks better here. Here in the game, these creatures and characters look a lot better. They're so satisfying to look at. In the first half hour or so of playing the game, there's literally a little sage-looking guy, and the guy is so old he literally looks like he has roots growing out of his face, like skin roots. It just looks so believable. You can literally see each individual piece of skin root coming out of his face, and it looks so good. It looks so good. And that leads me on to its environments. Now, I must admit, yes, the game, it's like Elden Ring and it's not like Elden Ring, right? It's not like Elden Ring in the sense that the starting area is not as expansive as Limgrave, but it is still very beautiful. Yes, the first couple of chapters are kind of linear. Where I stopped playing, it seemed like the world was opening up. I was in this desert place. It was really cool. The intro to that was pretty sick. I love the performance of the character in the intro of chapter 2, I believe. So the environments, yes, they're not as sprawling and as large as Elden Ring or Dark Souls, but that doesn't mean they're not aesthetically pleasing. I literally saw one of the most disingenuous comments I've seen online. Someone said that this game looks uninspired and generic. And honestly, I don't know what that guy was on, but that is some serious denial of aesthetic greatness. Because I don't know how you can look at a game like this and say it looks generic. I just don't get it. Even if you don't like the game, even if you don't have the chops to cut it, you cannot say that this game does not look good. That person's just gonna have to come on here and express their grievances in the comment section. We're just gonna have to duke it out, because I don't know how you can think this game looks generic. Like, come on. So another thing that I noticed while playing this game, and I have the feeling that it's carried throughout the entire game, and that is the end animations to each chapter. I finished a chapter and I saw a switch in visual style. The game went from 3D animation to 2D animation. It almost looks hand-drawn, like a Studio Ghibli type of production. And honestly, I like the break in the visuals here, right? I think it's a great way to tell your story. You don't have to stick to one visual style to tell your entire epic tale. And I like the fact that they took the risk of showing a different art style within the aesthetics of this game. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they kept going with that style, or they kept going with that to the end of the game. And I hope it's like that. I really hope. For those of you who conquered this monstrosity of a game, let me know in the comment section if this thing is upheld, if this style is upheld. So overall, I think that Black Myth Wukong, with all its visual stellar, may not be for most gamers. I get it. I'd never finished Ninja Gaiden Sigma and a bunch of other games. In fact, now that I think about it, I don't play fighting games. Why I don't play fighting games? Because fighting games give me a hard time. I don't like blocking on cue, you know? And it's weird because in Sekiro and Black Myth Wukong, you have to have the timing down. For anyone who picked up this game, you cannot button mash in Black Myth Wukong. You have to take your time and you have to breathe and dodge properly. I love the perfect dodge system. I wish the window was a little bit wider. I remember fighting something and it registered a perfect dodge, but I still took the damage and died anyway. So that was kind of weird. But I think in general, if you're the type of gamer that doesn't like difficult games, you should stay far away from this one. It is, and it is not like Elden Ring. In Elden Ring, if you're going up against a difficult boss, a boss that is just flooring you, you can always leave that boss and go and explore somewhere else. Besides, in Elden Ring, you also have the power to summon. It's not like Monster Hunter or even Dark Souls, where you have the opportunity to team up with other players to take down a challenging boss that you can't take on your own, right? Here, it's more a challenge of execution. So I have to be honest, I am a Mimic Tier user, man. I use my Mimic Tiers, man. I use my summons in Elden Ring. It's in the game. It's not cheating. I didn't use Game Genie, so I'm gonna use it. I paid for this game. I can use whatever item I choose. And I'm like that in all RPGs. If there's something that gives me the edge, right, and it's actually there to assist me, you best believe I'm going to use it. Except for Mario's white suit. I'll never use Mario's white suit. But Black Myth Wukong, I think it's a good game. I think it's a good game. I see people talking about the combat is bad and this and that. I disagree. The combat felt very fluid. You just have to execute properly. You have to. And I know it's gonna frustrate some, and this is why I'm saying the game is beautiful. Don't let the gorgeousness allure you into getting your ass kicked after spending $70 like I did. So, but I like the game. I like the game. I don't feel like I got gypped. I've seen people online talking about they got gypped and all this other stuff because they said it wasn't a Souls-like. Well, if it's not like a Souls-like, it's damn sure like a Ninja Gaiden. This game will beat your ass. Don't take it so serious. Don't take it so seriously. And okay, I thank you so much for tuning in this week.